Norman Kernahan, a winger, 54 goals in a season from the wing. Jimmy Jones, 63 he scored in his first season with Celtic. He had the best goalkeepers in the British side. Elisha Scott, who played over 400 times for Liverpool. When he hung up his boots at the age of 42, by the way, he won a league medal at the age of 42, passed it on to Tommy Breen. You had people like Kevin McAlinden, Hugh Kelly, all international goalkeepers, all playing for Celtic. You had the best full backs. I just mentioned, for example, Bertie Fulton, who I think won over 20 medals with Celtic altogether. Jackie Vernon, one of the best centre-halves in Ireland. Mickey Hamill, Bob Ferguson, Harry Walker, Sammy Moore. I don't want to say too many in case I offend somebody by leaving them out.
It's the way how you do it. It's the way how you do it. It's the way how you do it. That's what gets me. Mama, mama.
The defence was just tremendous. I mean, you look at the goals against Column in all their league-winning campaigns, and they were giving it away maybe one goal every other match. And then those goal scorers, they had to be fed by the wingers and the inside forwards, and you had some of the best wingers that Britain has ever seen. And of course, we go back to Charlie Tully, who went over then to Glasgow Celtic and helped them put 7 past Rangers in the League Cup final. You had Johnny Denver, Jimmy McAlinden, Charlie McElroy, and then you had these two wee people, called them Mahoods, in the 1920s, Jack and Sam, completely terrorised defences from the left wing.
Yes, I would say there was no doubt that it was the best team in Ireland. Yes, they had a great side. At that time, Celtic were winning nearly everything. They trained hard, they worked hard, and they played hard.
Oh, they were just amazing. They were just unbeatable.
Belfast Celtic was to Irish football what Manchester United, what Liverpool were to the English League. Other teams could only dream of such success. And when Celtic played away, the local fans basked in the style and swagger that came to town. Joe Cassidy, himself a footballer, was one of many who loved those days when Celtic came to Derry.
I remember we had a Celtic match to Brandywell, and I deliberately went up to the gate they came out of. Nobody seen them coming out, and they came out like film stars. They wanted to see the coat that Jack Vernon had on them.
That's right.
They were like film stars. The whole lot of them like film stars.
That here.
He had a big tweed top coat with a tied, no buckle, tied. You don't even see him. Immaculate. A butcher. Immaculate. What is the Celtic team coming out? I'll never forget that.
And even those who didn't go to games were touched by the Belfast Celtic glamour. Johnny Campbell was an outstanding Celtic forward in the 40s. Teresa Cassidy was a little girl.
When Johnny Campbell came home, we used to be delighted. We used to say, "There's Johnny home." And if he said hello to you, we were delighted. He just says, "Hello there, wee girl, how you doing?" And I always remember he always wore a brown suit. And I must have been only about 4, but I remember so vividly. And he was so tall. It was the supporters that really glamorised the Celtic team, you know, because of their clothes and, you know, being come from deprived areas, we wouldn't have been so flashy as those footballers probably. That was exciting times then, the football.
But it wasn't just children that were affected. Priests too worshipped at the Celtic Park shrine. Then, as now, Clonard Monastery in West Belfast was home to an order of Redemptorist priests. Once a fortnight, some priests had to choose between obeying the rules and football.
There's what you call Redemptorist fathers here, and they weren't allowed to go to football. One of the fathers bought Tom Crawley, and I just tell him this, Tom, how could you go to a match and you weren't allowed? Oh, he says, Michael, you weren't permitted to go, but you had to get forgiveness. You couldn't get permission, but you had to get forgiveness.
Harry Gregg, who one day would star in goals for Manchester United and play a heroic role in the Munich air disaster, started his career with Linfield Football Club. Linfield was a great Protestant club in Belfast and Celtic's rival. But that didn't stop Harry from hero worshipping a Celtic star.
I'll tell you a ridiculous childish story. When I first saw Paddy
and saw how pigeon-toed he was, I destroyed myself. For the next 2 years. I tried to walk like Paddy Bonner. I'm very serious about it. Childhood dreams you have.
Gonna take a sentimental journey. Gonna set my heart at ease. Gonna take a sentimental journey to renew old memories.
It was a more simple world back in the 40s. Belfast Celtic and football were at the heart of the community. Albert Curry, a Linfield player.
There was no television in them days. The working man, he was living not too much money. Before he went to Windsor Park or Celtic Park, he went into the bookies. He'd done his wee 6 doubles and 4 trebles. Cost him 2 or 3 shillings. And up into Windsor Park for 2 bob to take in another couple of hours of football, come back to see the results, walking into the bars in Sandy Row and the Falls Road, having a drink and going home. No television to sit back and say, look, or making comparisons against other football elsewhere. It was on the day in Northern Ireland.
Curry remembers it, the existence of Linfield, supported by Protestants, was part of the reason why Belfast Celtic, supported by Catholics, was a great team. And vice versa, he would say.
The trophies every year were divided between Belfast Celtic and Linfield. And the 2 teams were just the one everything between them. It was always neck and neck.
That was what created the rivalry. But yet it was a religious background without viciousness. But Celtic was a team followed primarily by people of Catholic persuasion. Celtic was the Catholic club, Linfield was a Protestant club, but that was it.
John Kennedy agrees that Linfield were Celtic's rivals, but not their equals.
Take it from when they re-entered football in 1924. They would have competed in 18 league campaigns up until they left in 1949. And in those 18, they won 11, Linfield won 5, and Glentoran won 2. The so-called rivalry between Linfield and Belfast Celtic was won by Belfast Celtic, basically.
Jimmy Jones was a young Protestant from Lurgan, and a key player in the great Celtic team of the 40s. He recalls one occasion when a Linfield official made a determined attempt to poach him.
He just said, name your price. He says, whatever you want, he says, we'll give it to you for to come to Linfield. And I shouldn't be over there with that crowd of tags. I thought that was a terrible thing for anybody to say, so that was one time whenever money didn't come into it.
Celtic, Catholic, Linfield, Protestant. Different, yes. Sectarian, no. Harry Gregg.
Football. Everywhere in this world, Yugoslavia, the Serbs, the Croats, so football, no matter what you are, is tribal. In England, the great United City, football, when it comes to football, it's a tribal thing. It is across this world. But why do we associate religion with the difference here in Ireland?
But in the 48-49 season, the rivalry between Belfast Celtic and Linfield came to a head. John Kennedy.
I think for the first time in a long time, Linfield had a real chance of winning the league. Celtic had run away with the league the previous year. That was the year of their great 31 wins in a row and so on. And going into that match, I think Linfield were 1 point ahead. So if they had won the match, there was daylight between them and Celtic. If Celtic won the match, they would leapfrog over Linfield.
We played Linfield in October, and the match was at Celtic Park. Now, for some reason, Billy Simpson played for Linfield centre forward, and he clashed from Beckelin, our goalkeeper. Now, what he done deliberately on that, he hit Beckelin in the head with his foot, and the boots then just wore the heavy boots. They're steel-toed. Beckelin then was mad. He came into half-time mad, and he said he was going to get him. And okay, you've tried to talk to him like to ease off and take it easy. But he went out, and the two went out for a ball in the second half, and back, and then punched them. We got letters to Celtic Park, tell McAllen not to turn up at Windsor Park on Boxing Day, or he'd never get rid of it. McAllen, being the sort of man he was, he went out, I'm telling you, that day in one leg. One of the knees were bad, but he got strapped up to go out. He was going to play.
Monday, the 27th of December, 1948. The Boxing Day game at Windsor Park, the ground of Linfield. It was a traditional fixture between rivals. But what happened on and off the field that day would change everything. It changed the life of Jimmy Jones, a brilliant young player who'd attracted the attention of both Fulham and Newcastle United. It changed the history of the most successful football club Ireland has ever known, Belfast Celtic. And it changed the face of Irish football forever.
Grand old team to play for, sure it's a grand old team be dead. When you read its history, it's enough to make your heart grow sad.
I'm George Best. This programme was a Something Else production for BBC Radio 5 Live.
And you can hear part 2 of the life and death of Belfast Celtic at the same time tomorrow night.